What is freedom? When you don't have to explain to anyone what job you do. Once, I rented a small apartment in Chicago, just enough space for myself, simple but filled with natural light. The next week, I was in Miami, in a room near the ocean, where opening the window brought the sound of waves. I carried my laptop, a notebook, a ceramic mug, and that was it. Some months, I'd head to Asheville, where mornings are crisp and afternoons warm. I'd sit in a cozy wooden coffee shop, pull up a chart, place a small trade, then close my laptop and take a walk. Other times, I'd return to my hometown in rural Nebraska, living among fields, no schedule, no deadlines. Neighbors would see me and ask, "Hey, you back for good? Not working anymore?" I'd just smile, no need to explain, no urge to flaunt my portfolio, no effort to make anyone understand. Because I've learned that true freedom doesn't need to be announced. Financial independence isn't about the car you drive, the size of your house, or the number in your brokerage account. It's about the power to choose where you live, when you live there, without needing anyone's permission. I used to feel compelled to explain, I work online, I trade, I analyze markets. But I realized if you're still trying to make others understand how you make money, you're not truly free. Now, I can sit alone anywhere, Chicago, Miami, Asheville, or a quiet corner of my hometown, open my laptop, place a trade, then walk outside under the sun. No need to check the markets every hour, no need for praise, no need to be someone else. All I need is the knowledge that I owe no one an explanation. To me, that's true freedom. If you're chasing financial independence but still living in fear of what others think, pause for a moment, not to learn how to trade better, but to understand. Freedom isn't in the numbers. It starts the moment you no longer need validation. There was a time I disappeared from trading groups, stopped posting trades, stopped sharing charts, stopped talking about the market. I went silent and started living like someone who didn't need to be understood. I remember the first morning I left the city, waking up at 6 a.m. to silence, no car horns, no phone notifications. I stepped outside to the backyard, sat under an old oak tree with a black coffee in hand. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the pressure to become someone. A neighbor passed by and asked, "What's with you, always back here lately? Not working anymore?" I just smiled, knowing that explaining would pull me back into that familiar loop, trying to be understood, trying to be recognized, trying to prove I'm worthy. I was done living like that. I got tired of justifying myself, fed up with comments like, "Oh, you work online? Sounds like one of those pyramid schemes," or "You're always around, doing something shady." I used to get annoyed, want to argue, want to prove I was skilled. But one day, standing in a Nebraska field with a gentle breeze and sunlight stretching across the land, I thought, why explain when I'm living a life others only dream of? From that moment, I stopped talking. I didn't need anyone to understand. I kept living as I was, brewing coffee each morning, opening charts, entering a trade if I saw a clear setup, or closing my laptop and helping my mom pick vegetables if I didn't. Some folks saw me free on a Monday morning and invited me for coffee, asking, "How are you never busy?" I just smile and say, "I'm busy living." The slower I live, the clearer I see. No one forces me to hustle. It all stems from one truth: I used to believe I didn't deserve to live lightly. I thought freedom meant making tons of money or earning others' approval. But I realized true freedom is when you no longer need an audience. Back in the day, I craved admiration for being a great trader. Now, I just want a quiet morning, a clear chart, a simple trade, and a mind that doesn't waver. At night, I eat dinner with my family, not talking about markets or bragging about winning trades. My mom doesn't know how I make money, but she knows I'm living well, without the stress I used to carry. That, to me, is real financial independence, not the balance in my account, but the peace within when I don't have to prove I'm okay. I used to think if I didn't share anything online, I'd be forgotten. No one would know what I was doing, no one would mention me, no one would check in. But I discovered that silence is the greatest gift trading ever gave me. When I stopped posting winning trades, I had more time to call an old friend, not to talk markets but to ask, remember that rainy night we wandered around Asheville? When I left trading chat groups, I started showing up for unplanned coffee meetups, where I didn't need to explain my job, and they didn't need to understand. I remember a solo trip to Savannah, no social media posts, no selfies. I walked along the river at dusk, ate shrimp and grits at a small diner, and for the first time, I felt I was truly living, not filming my life to prove I was living well. Some days, I sleep in, and if it's raining, I don't rush. I open my laptop, glance at the charts for a few minutes, and if there's no trade, I close it, grab an Uber, and head to my parents' place. That evening, I eat dinner with them, not mentioning gold prices or stocks. I just listen to my mom talk about her broken blender. My dad laughs and says, every time you come home, the house feels alive. For many, financial independence means luxury resorts, golf course check-ins, or dining at upscale restaurants. For me, it's eating with family, not checking my watch, not thinking about tomorrow's setups. Because I know, whether there's a good trade tomorrow or not, I'll be fine. The more I live this way, the more my relationships change. I no longer hang out with people who only text when there's a hot tip or ask, what do you think of this stock? I talk to real people, those who listen, don't judge, and don't care how much I make, only that I'm a decent person living authentically. I ran into an ex once, and she said, you still doing the same work? Funny, you used to be so stressed, but now you seem so light. I didn't say much because I felt it too. The more I live true to myself, the lighter everything feels, and, amazingly, the money still comes. Maybe not as much as the loud folks out there, but enough to live anywhere, anytime I want. Enough to love without worrying if I'm worthy. Enough to help someone without waiting to have extra. And most importantly, enough to never trade my freedom for one more position. I used to think hitting $1 million would bring peace, or 10 million would mean freedom. But after meeting people with 10 times that amount, I realized a sobering truth: wealth doesn't equal freedom. Sometimes, it's the most elegant trap for those who haven't built the inner strength to stay grounded. I know a guy who crushed at day trading, tripling his account in months, but he can't sleep. Every morning, he checks prices first thing, every night, he's glued to his app, scrolling charts. Even on vacation, he's tethered to his phone, eating in a rush, always on edge. I asked him, how's that different from being broke? He gave a weak smile. It's different. The pressure's bigger now. That stuck with me. If you can't sleep soundly after getting rich, have you bought freedom or just traded up for a shinier cage? The further I go, the more I understand, money doesn't grant freedom. It opens a door to a deeper journey, mastering yourself. If you don't step through, you'll stand outside with a pile of cash and a heart that never feels enough. Freedom isn't in your account balance, it's in your ability to shut everything off and still feel whole. Some people with 8-figure portfolios can't go a day without checking charts. Others with assets everywhere won't spend a month in their hometown because they're still proving their worth. I used to be like that, winning big, skilled, but terrified that stepping away for a few weeks would make me irrelevant. Then one day, I let it all go. Not because I quit, but because I understood, winning is when you no longer need to win to feel valuable. From there, I started living like someone truly free. No need for recognition, no titles, no one to validate my success. If you're chasing financial independence but can't step away from the charts, fear missing out, or feel compelled to prove you're on the right path, you might not be as free as you think. You're just living a socially acceptable version of stress. I'm not as rich as others, but I can take a nap, go for a walk, sit at a dive bar with a black coffee, and not need to check my phone to prove anything to anyone. To me, that's real freedom. After stepping out of the race to be seen as successful, I started rebuilding, not my portfolio or trading system, but myself. I wake up a little earlier now, not to catch a trade but to start a day without rushing. I brew coffee, open a window to let sunlight flood my small room. No notification chimes, no urge to chase the next setup, just me and a quiet question: what do I really need today? Some days, I check a chart for 5 minutes and close it, not out of laziness but because I know strength lies in recognizing when to do nothing. I keep a handwritten journal, not to review trades but to listen to my mind's fluctuations. Some days, I write, mornings calm, minds at peace, no need to trade. And I trust that. No doubt, no struggle. The slower I live, the clearer I see. Freedom doesn't come from doing nothing, it comes from choosing to act without being forced to. I used to think freedom required a bulletproof strategy or constant wins. Now I know it's about mastering your mind, winning the inner game. I don't chase entries or exits anymore, I observe my own emotions. If I feel impatient, I stay out. If I want to trade to prove something, I stop. If I see a clear setup, I enter, but with the mindset of someone who doesn't need to win, only to be true to myself. Some weeks, I don't trade at all, yet I'm still whole. Strangely, the weeks with the fewest trades are when I feel richest, not because of profits, but because I'm not trading myself for numbers. I reconnected with old friends, and we don't talk markets. We talk about life, trees, sunlight, old flames. In those conversations, untouched by money, I feel freer than ever. Trading is still my work, but it's not my identity. It's a part of me, not the whole. That's how I've stayed grounded through market storms. If you're grinding to make enough to rest, pause and ask, can I live differently now? You don't need to wait for 10 million or the perfect moment. Start rebuilding from within, just a little, each day. One afternoon, I walked through a quiet alley in Asheville. The sun dipped behind sloped rooftops, kids played soccer, an old man sold tacos from a cart. I stood there, unnoticed, unknown, and in that simple moment, I felt peace so deep I didn't want to pull out my phone to capture it. No check-ins, no need to announce I was living the life, because I was truly living, and that was enough. Another time, in a Chicago coffee shop high above the city, I watched the skyline light up, everyone below rushing. I sat with a hot tea, thinking how I once believed busyness equaled value. Now, this ease, this thing so many pay a price for, is mine. Some nights, back in Nebraska, I hear crickets and lie in a hammock, staring at a starlit sky, no city lights, no noise. I wonder how many people spend their lives chasing just one day like this. Financial independence, to me, isn't about luxury travel or buying without thinking. It's living fully in the moment, without strain, without needing to tell the world, without proving anything. I'm not against wealth, but I'm no longer obsessed with it. I make money, spend it, invest it, but I'm not its slave. I may not be as rich as others, but when I close my laptop and step away from the charts, I'm not anxious. I don't fear missing out, I don't need to run, because I've already arrived. A life where money doesn't control me. If you're reading this, I believe you're on your way there too. Maybe you're not ready to stop yet, maybe you're still hustling. But if there's a stirring inside you, craving a different life, trust it, you're already stepping out of the cage. You're not just chasing wealth, you're seeking something deeper, a life where you can be yourself, no permission needed.